Hey, what is going on and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at Avalanche, ticker Avax against USDT. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor, so you should always do your own research before investing money into crypto. That being said, jumping into the weekly chart, you can see that we have a little pullback on Bitcoin, and I've been warning you about this in some of my videos, and I've been talking about this in the Telegram chat as well. So for those of you who knew about this, we're prepared with some fiat, but you can see that on the RSI on the weekly, we are still in the overbought. So what you can expect is a move towards the downside. And once you find yourself uh, somewhere in the middle here in the RSI, in the middle levels, somewhere in between 60 to 50 on the index, that's where you potentially can wait to enter, and that may co-align with the bounce off the 20 EMA on the weekly chart, which is currently sitting at $35 pretty much. So that would be your golden entry point sitting at the 20 EMA on the weekly chart. So have the EMAs on your charts. They're a lot better than the MAs because the moving averages or the simple moving averages are lagging indicators. However, the EMAs are not. So that's why I always have the EMAs up on the chart. Okay, now let's jump into the daily chart. Okay, now you can see that we are on the daily chart and we do have two fib retracements up. First of all, if we take a look at the EMAs, you can see that we're perfectly bouncing off the 20 EMA. So the 20 EMA on the daily chart is a nice entry point as well, but I still do think that we may get overextended to the downside, and bouncing off the 20 EMA on the weekly is the best thing that can happen for us, just so we reset our indicators. So I have laid out these two rectangles for you, and these are the buying zones that you want to keep an eye on. So from $52 to $41 is where you can expect this pullback, because this is where the 55 EMA is on the daily chart. So I would expect to bounce off of that as well if Bitcoin ends up coming back down below 40K, which is possible. That is still possible. And lower than that, we do have a buy level over here from $37.81 all the way to $32. And this $32 perfectly aligns with the weekly 20 EMA. So don't think that a project that has appreciated this much can't go back and retest those lower support zones. That's what usually happens, and that is very healthy, keep in mind. So we do have this smaller fib retracement. As you can see, we had this bottom over here, this swing low, and where was our swing high? And this was our swing high over here. So we went up, retraced below the 786, hit our head on the 1.272, went back to the 618, went back to the previous high, went back down to the 0.5, went to the 1.414, found level of support, and now we got rejected from this 1.618. So that's a strong resistance level, and from now on, we're gonna have that as a strong resistance. The 1.618 on this little retracement that we have from this low of August 15th to this high of August 21st. Okay. And we do have obviously a larger fib retracement over here from the all-time high, the previous all-time high at $60, all the way down to this bottom over here. And we do have the 0.786 on the large fib, which is currently sitting at $41. And that is your entry price as well. That is a nice Fibonacci support level. So we have the buy orders at $41. Obviously, just because I'm saying it might go to these levels doesn't mean that it will. But looking at the EMAs and looking at the RSIs, there is confluence that gives me, confidence in a move towards the downside. Now, if we take a look at the RSI on the daily chart, so let me just remove the drawings. So I do want to show you a huge bearish divergence on the daily chart, and the larger the bearish divergence is, the more confluence it has and the more substance, and the larger the pullback potentially is going to be. So a move towards the 20 weekly EMA for me is now looking even more possible. So if we take a trend line and we place it, now the drawings will come back, but you can see that on the price action, we made a high over here and we made a higher high over here. Now on the RSI, we made a high over here, but then we made a lower high, as you can see. So if we take a trend line, from that high to that high, that's a higher high. But on the RSI, from this high to this high, that is a lower high. That is called a bearish divergence. And you can see the divergence is pretty significant. So I do expect to move towards the downside, okay? And we do have this nice support level on the RSI as well. There are a couple of support levels that I'm looking at on the RSI. So this is one of them, and this is potentially the second support level that we have. Just like that, I'm going to change the color to white in a second. So you can see that we have two support levels over here. So what I do expect is if we start coming back down and you see a bounce off of this trend line, that is potentially your entry point, and this could be the bounce off the 20 weekly EMA, okay? And as you can see, every time we bounce off this trend line, we have a move towards the upside. So that's why it gives me confluence to the fact that if we bounce off this level, we're going to have a move towards the upside. So if we bounce off and we go up and you see us hitting this resistance on the RSI, this is where you potentially can be selling, because as you can see, we have been hitting this resistance once, two times. The third time we actually broke out of it, but as you can see, we went back down below. So yeah, keep an eye on these levels. And if we end up losing this support level, then you can expect a bounce off of this RSI level as well, off of this support level, because as you can see, we had a touch of this level once, two times, and each time we have a touch, we have a move towards the upside. So if you move down to this lower support line, then this previous support line, this larger one, is going to become resistance. So you might end up hitting your head on it over here. So keep that in mind. If you lose support, it becomes resistance. If you break resistance, it becomes support. So yeah, interesting things happening on the RSI on the daily chart. So other than that, right now, there's really nothing to show you. I'm going to jump into KuCoin for some technical indicators right now. But from what I wanted to show you, yeah, I do have all the support levels. Obviously, we're still looking at these higher fib levels. We're still looking at $192 per Avax coin. That is still potential, okay? This is the 1.618 on the fib retracement on the log scale. So you're looking at 126 and $192 per Avax. I'm still expecting that. And now jumping into Binance, not KuCoin, I do apologize. So we do have two patterns at play at the minute. So you can see this yellow rising wedge that we do have over here. And this is a bearish pattern. When you form a rising wedge, as you can see, you come up, hit these levels, you get closer to the apex, you break down. This is your target, okay? Where you formed the rising wedge, where the support was formed of the rising wedge, okay? The target is $32. That perfectly co-aligns with the 20 weekly EMA bounce. So this, everything is giving me, is giving me confluence to the fact that we're coming back down to the 20 weekly EMA. So we do have this large cup and handle pattern at play. We do have over here, if you can't see it already, this is the cup, okay? And this is the handle over here. These two lines is the handle, that downward channel, that is usually the handle, okay? Now, if we take a trend line from the top of the cup to the very bottom of it, to the top, I mean the resistance trend line over here, and you place it at the breakout of the handle, it gives you a target of $86, okay? I'm gonna change that trend line to the white color. We're gonna drop a price tag on that. That is $86 roughly, yeah, 87. And this is the target from the cup and handle pattern. As you can see, we didn't carry out that target. We got hit by the 1.272. We almost got to the 1.272. We topped out at $76. The 1.272 is on $78. So this is from September 7th, all right, to the high September 12th. Yeah. So this swing low to this swing high, then you have the overextension fib levels. So yeah, on the daily, this is, by the way, the daily chart on Binance. So if we end up coming back down, okay, and we come back down to this $32, which is the zero level on the fib, which creates a double bottom pattern, okay, if you come back down here. And this double bottom pattern is a bullish pattern, a bullish reversal pattern. So you do have your peak over here, your neckline. You go back to the double bottom where you formed it, and you put a trend line and that gives you a target of $130 if we do end up coming back down that low to $30 to $32, okay? So it's looking bullish. Even if we do come back down, that's a great opportunity to get more AVAX coins. And, it's really great. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we're still in the overbought over here. We're still in the overbought, even though we are making moves towards the downside right now. We're hitting the daily 20 EMA, expect a bounce off the 55 daily EMA at least if we continue with this Bitcoin pullback. The MACD is coming down for a bearish cross. Once we get the bearish cross, that is the confirmation of the downtrend. But keep in mind, the MACD is a lagging indicator. Now, if we drop to the 12-hourly chart, you can see, okay, the RSI is starting to reset, which is great. The stochastic RSI is starting to reset as well. It's coming back down to those lower levels. A bearish cross on the 12-hourly chart, confirming our downtrend on the 12-hourly chart. So yeah, that this rising wedge is really what's driving me to the fact that we're coming back down to this $32 price. But keep in mind, if we do end up coming back down to the $32, the technical target of $86 from the cup and handle pattern will be invalidated because you broke down below this handle, okay? So you can extend this trend line on the handle, and that may play as a support trend line, okay? You may bounce off of this trend line moving forward because it was acting as resistance previously. Now it's acting as support. So that's something that you want to pay attention to, okay? So as you can see, one bounce, if we just bring it down a little lower, the one bounce, 2, 3, 4 bounces. So yeah, we may end up bouncing off this trend line as well. So yeah, there's your TA on AVAX. Hopefully everything was clear, crystal clear, and I tried to make it as simple as possible for you to understand. Have the EMAs up, have the RSI up, have the actually, let me bring out the 100 EMA. Okay, so the 100 EMA is sitting at $42, and the 200 EMA is sitting at $32 pretty much. So yeah, the 200 EMA on the daily chart, on the 12-hourly chart, is where it's at, boys. So yeah, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.